everyone. Okay, so I'm getting back to my heritage journal here, and I am in the back signature cover now. I do still have a couple pages over here where I was doing all like the kind of pop culture stuff, and I wanted to finish it up, but I've misplaced the pages I was going to put in here, which was some of my parents' favorite like snacks and treats when they were a kid, and I don't know what I did with it. So I'm not gonna waste my time looking for it. I'll probably just reprint it out as I've saved everything. So I'm going to work in, this is that middle signature. So it's, you know, again, the accordion style. And we've done the first signature, the second signature, and so this is the back portion of it. So if I flip it over, there's another one in the back there. And this is going to be all about the history of our heritage, talking about Acadian Day, how it got its name, and some really kind of cool stuff like their lost for words again today. Traditional like outfits that they wore, and some little like traditional Acadian dolls, what they look like. And then I've got a traditional Acadian painting. And then I thought this was really cute. I came across this photo of a little girl who's about the age of my daughter in a traditional dress. So I want to put that in. And then, of course, I've got some information on the history of Acadian Day, and then one of the national monuments here, and a little map of the location. And then I also found another piece of artwork of one of the ships that our ancestors came across from France to the Acadian countries, which is now known as New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, parts of Maine. So that's what the kind of ship that they came over on. So I wanted to include that. And then I came across also this. So Acadian Day is on August 15th. And I came across a little advertisement for one of the Acadian Days. I think it's a more recent one, like probably 2016 or something like that. But, you know, I just wanted to show that they're still celebrating the day. They often use the flag as part of the advertisement. And then they've got just information on what's going on, what kind of festivities and activities. So I wanted to definitely put this in here. And it is all in French, which is okay. We'll get, you know, my mom to translate that for my daughter. She's the one that's fluent. I am not fluent in French, so I could probably figure it out. And my husband speaks French, so we could figure it out if she asks. So what I'm going to do is I want to put this on a little bit of a stiffer paper. Actually, am I going to use the card? I don't think I'm going to use the cardstock for it. I just want to add a little bit more bulk to this, and then do some stamping on the back. I'm just trying to see if I've got like a scrap piece of paper that's going to fit, so I don't have to cut up a new one. And I've got one here that's a little bit smaller, but I think I might use it anyways. I'm okay with that. So let me see. Maybe I'll put this. Oh, that might be a cute idea. You know what? I'm going to use this. This was a piece of my Eco Dyed paper, and it has some little printouts on it. So I'll use that because that'll be cute when it's folded, even though I'm going to have the red showing. But when she pulls it out, it'll show something cute. Okay, so let me just grab my glue. You can use anything if you want to use craft paper, or you know, if you want to use the colors of your heritage flag or the country of origin, you can do that. I mean, there's so many options. I'm just trying to unify this journal, so all the pages that I use in the papers are going to be significantly the same. So it's not cut to size. I like to just glue it down on the paper first, and then I can get my ruler or cutter and just trim it. And I was going to stamp on the back, but since I have something already printed, this is just going to work fine. Okay, and then I just had it folded like a little accordion because I want part of the leg to show. Actually, you know what I think I might do? Originally, I was going to have it folded this way and tuck it in, but I think I'm going to do it like a little brochure this way, folding into the center, because I like the back of it better, and it shows parts of Acadian and day, so that's cute. And then when she opens it up, there's something kind of cute on the background. And then I was just gonna like tuck it in here in a little pocket. And then on this side, okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of collaging. I came across this old little advertisement at a gas station that was in Maine many years ago, like in the 1940s. And it says, as you can tell, the price of gas is like, it's $1. Maybe it wasn't the 1940s. That couldn't have been the 1940s if it was $1. Maybe it was like the 70s or 80s. But it says on this, it says, by state law, today is Canadian Day. And I thought that was cool. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use it in conjunction with a little postcard here. So I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of collaging. And I think what I'm going to do, let me grab my rusty stamps. I just want to get a little bit of stamping down on this side. So I'm going to use my, what I call my newspaper stamp or magazine stamp, to just kind of look like font, because this signature is all about information, history on this day. So I want to make it look, you know, informative, and I'm going to do that by just adding some font. And all the font is in French, which is perfect. And then that way it just adds another little visual element when I have this in here, so it's not so blah. And then I'm going to get my little classic French words and just kind of put a little stamp across there, and one going along the side. Just subtle as a visual reference there. Okay, and on this side, we're going to have that. I'm just going to layer this here. I think what I'll do is just a little bit of antiquing on this sign. So let's just put that aside for a moment. Make sure you guys can see here. Get my Distress Oxide inks in the sepia. I'm just going to distress this a tad. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit on here too. I think maybe I'll just run the edges because I printed it on like a cream paper, and you can kind of see it on the edges where I ripped it, and I don't want that showing. It's already got that age looked, but just add a little bit more. Okay. And then I want to add, just to kind of authenticate this postcard, I just want to get, like, there's a little spot for a stamp. Actually, I have stamps. Let's get out one of these stamps. And I think it's okay if it's big. Let's see. Which one am I going to use? I have 3 different stamps. That one. Let's see, I'll try this one too. Yeah, I think I'll use this one. So let's just kind of age up the edge so it doesn't look like we just cut and pasted it, which is what I'm doing, but we're just, you know, tricking the visual eye. Let's just do some trickery here. Okay, so let's glue that little guy on there. And we'll add, what I like to do is just kind of add little stampings, marks over top so that it looks authentic. And then, so this is going to go over top. So what I think I might do is glue it in, and then I'm going to do some stamping across just to make it look like somebody hand wrote a little message on it. Okay, so we'll glue this down first. Okay, and get my little advertisement sign. And you know what? I just thought of something. My lovely little tape here. Why do I keep forgetting the name of this? I am going to put a piece on here because I like how you can see the stuff underneath, keeping with, you know, the tradition of my family. Masking tape, that's it. And then I'll do a little stamp going across that way. That's kind of cute. And then it looks like a little message. And then I think I'm just going to tear a little piece here to put in the corner. Before I do that, though, it's like I want to make my own washi tape. I'm just going to stamp on the masking tape first, just like that. See that? Just to give it a little more interest. I don't want to press down too hard because the glue, or sorry, the ink is still a little wet. So there's the first page of, you know, the history signature of Acadian Day, and I just made a little card here. This is an advertisement for a celebration on that day and all the festivities, and that's just going to tuck in there. if you want to show more color, or if I want to show more color, I'll just kind of tuck it in that way. And then we've got the postcard. I added a stamp. I did a little bit of stamping, and then I just got a clipping of some advertisement to reference that day. And then moving to the next page, let me get this stuff kind of out of the way. So I think what I'll do first is put the history of Acadian Day right in here, so that that is the next page. And what I want to do is I want to do this kind of fold so that when she opens it up, she'll see history of Acadia Day. So let's see how we're going to do this. I think what I'm going to do first is just put a little bit of glue here because I want to tack it down. I don't want to glue the whole thing because I don't know where my fold is going to be. So I'm going to glue this side down like so. And then at this point, I've got play. So I want to make sure that history of Acadia Day is showing. So I'm going to do a fold here. I'll just do it this way first. Okay. So I know that will show. And then what I'll do is I'll just make sure that it fits within my page, and then I can do my crease here. Okay, so that turned out well. So you would just pull it out, and then you've got all the information. And that's a perfect way of, when you've got, you know, a larger sheet, just make sure that it fits lengthwise, like you want to cut and fit it, but it can go out as long as you want. You could even have it going longer, like some of the other pages that I did. The fashion one, you know, this was a different way that I folded it so that you could have longer pages within. So this is great because it's going to show what the information is. History of Acadian Day. So, not sure if you're interested, but I am going to read this to you. So, Acadia consists of what is now Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island, and includes areas of Quebec and Maine. Acadia was a separate colony from that which eventually came to form Canada until it got absorbed, and even developed their own dialect of French, which is interesting that they say that, because I've always noticed from a very young age when we traveled across Canada how my mom's French was so different than Quebec. Like, and I've met, you know, I have some, well, I did, you know, meet someone when I was 20 from Paris, France, and the French was very similar to how my mom speaks, yet a little bit different. And it's so pronounced, but it makes sense now because, you know, the Acadians were derived right from France. I mean, it doesn't go that far back into history where our ancestors were just direct from France. But I find Quebec French very difficult to understand. People say that it's, and I don't want to offend people from Quebec. I have friends from Quebec, but a lot of people say that there's a lot of slang in it. Like, they really speak fast and their words kind of mush together. So I find it very difficult to understand because I'm so used to, when I was learning French, to understand each individual word. Parisian French is very easy to understand. They really pronounce each word separately. I mean, it's clean, it's precise. Acadian French, I find not as crisp, but it is, you know, they speak slower and more pronounced. So getting back to where it says that they've developed their own dialect. So maybe it's a little bit of both, you know, like maybe the Acadian French is a little bit between. In fact, there are remnants of the 17th century French that no longer exists anywhere but in books in the language of those who still speak the Acadian regional dialect. Most people know about Louisiana and Cajun cultures that come from there. What most people don't know is that the Cajuns' roots lie in Acadian refugees escaping the British when they conquered Acadia in 1710. The next 45 years were contentious, and when the Acadians were found fighting the British alongside the French, massive deportations began. So that's where our ancestors came from. So they were deporting the French from this mainland here. And of the 11,500 Acadians who were deported, many of them found their way to Louisiana. So they escaped. Some went to Louisiana and some stayed in the east coast of Canada and that Maine region. The rest of them returned to France, and from there, many of them came back to either Louisiana or to New Brunswick, since they were not allowed to reclaim their lands in Nova Scotia. Through these trials in history, the Acadian people preserved, and now Acadian Day celebrates their history, culture, and heritage. So imagine that. We had land. We fought alongside the Brits against our own people. Then they deported us, and some of us had to escape to come back, but we couldn't reclaim the land. So, you know, seems like there's a lot of stories like that in history, which is unfortunate, but, you know, those are our roots, and it's good to learn about that. So, the other thing that I want to include in the Acadia Day is the National Monument, which is St.Amant National Monument, and it was built in 1916 by President Woodrow Wilson, but the name was changed in 1919 to Lafayette National Park. So that's now what it is known as, and it is in the national park east of the Mississippi. And there's also, I have a little map here of where it's located, but it's really hard to see. Mont Desert Island in, wait a minute, Maine. I think it might have, okay, I've got to do a little bit more research because I'm not sure exactly where, because on here it says that there's monument boundaries, so maybe it goes from, maybe they're talking about the Mississippi River and not Mississippi State, which would make sense because Acadia is up north. So I'll have to look into that, and I'm going to clarify that. But I did want to put some of this information in the book, and I'm going to put a picture of the monument, and on the back I will have the information of how it got its name. So I'm just going to tear this here. So I've got to fit both of these on here, and what I think I might do is I'm going to do a little booklet. A little kind of, I think I'll make a little booklet that will just pop open. So here, let's see, how are we going to do this? Just kind of planning it out in my head. If I have the image first, and then I can have the map as the underneath portion. So I have to make sure that my text fits within the book. So let's make sure the width is okay. And I'm going to have it open this way. So I'll tear a little bit more off here. It's nice to use the ruler in this way too, because then let's see where I might, okay, I don't want to cut off the monument. And then how wide? I'm just going to kind of fold it where I can trim it so that it fits in here. Okay, so tear this off. It's kind of creating like a little booklet. That'll be on there. Okay, so let's get rid of some of this excess on the top and on the bottom. Okay. Okay, so I've got those pretty much match up. I'm going to paste that right in, but these I'm going to create as a booklet. But what I want to do is maybe just distress this a little bit. And as you can see, like, I really don't have this planned out. And this is part of journaling. It's just kind of making everything work as you go. Okay. So I think that's good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a little piece of my trusty masking tape. And same technique as I did before with the little booklet is, whoops. I just put one over the other and kind of use the tape as a binding. Just get that down good. And then you can trim the ends off. And then that way, you've got just this little kind of pamphlet style book. So it's going to open this way. And then underneath, this is going to be pasted right on there. So, and I'll tape this on as well, so it kind of flips up. So let's see. I'm going to do it there. And I think what I'll do is just get some text going on my sheet as a underlay to give it some interest. Trim some off. Oops. Okay, that looks good. We'll just use a little bit of remnants that's on my sponge to age it up just a little bit more. Get a little bit more on there. Okay. Okay, so let's glue that down. Okay, so we've got that. And then the booklet's going to cover that. Let's see what I've got that I can put down here. I wonder if I can fit a little stamp over it. Whoops. You know what? I'm just going to tear a little bit of this. No, I'll use this strip. I just happened to look over and I saw a strip here. I just want a little bit of visual interest, so I'm just grabbing scraps, whatever I've got, to fill the space so I don't see just the blank paper underneath. Just that kind of collaging technique, little scraps and bits to give visual interest to your paper. And this was another black and white, kind of some French clip art that I had printed on my eco-dyed paper, and it's on the side, so that's okay. And I will glue my monument map on there. Okay, and I'm going to get a little piece of tape. Me and my tape. And I'm going to write my St.Amant National Monument. And it is in Maine. I'm seeing it. So it's on Mount Desert Island in Maine. Okay. So I'm going to put that in there, and I am literally just going to take a piece of tape and add another piece right on top. So you're just going to have to make sure you cut the excess off so that you can still open the booklet. So I've got my sticky part there, and I'm actually just going to wrap it around. So I've got a little bit tacking on here, and then to the other side of the page. So whatever I do on this side, and that's a nice thing about this masking tape, is it is the same color my paper, but if you want it to like be more apparent, you can age it up or distress it, or you can leave it like that. But, and there we go. So we've got a picture of the National Monument, how Acadia got its name. Okay, that's why I was confused. So this talks about how Acadia got his name, and then this is where the monument is located in Maine. So let me just get, and I think I'll just maybe use my distress ink for a little something something down here. Just some font going that way. There we go. Just, you know, to add more visual interest. So there's my other page with information, and then this one pops right out, and it's got the history of Acadia Day. So we did 2 pages today, and I think it turned out well. We've got a little pocket, we've got some little fold outs, and a little booklet. So we're getting near the end of this little journal. I can't wait to get it all into the cover and show you the final product. So we're almost there. And also, I can't wait to see what you guys are doing. If you're working on your own heritage journal, And if so, make sure you go and you paste images on my Facebook group called Collaborating Through Art, because everybody's heritage is going to be so different. And I hope you're getting ideas of what you can include, you know, like pop culture, the history, any kind of monuments, you know, flags, anything on the dialect that's spoken, how it evolved, traditional dress, attire, you know, all these kind of things you can really implement it into your own heritage journal. So we'll see you next time as I work to complete my journal. All right, thanks for watching, guys.